Hey guys, Jen here. As always, I'm hoping everyone is well and coping with the changes in the world as best they can. Please know that I continue to send out positive thoughts and prayers to everyone. I pray that everyone gets exactly what they need, if not what they want, and double heapings of exactly what they deserve in this life, so that we're not indebted for eternity. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to talk for a few minutes and we're going to get into woo-woo territory here for a couple of minutes. That's the only thing I really miss about having a bigger audience is the lives. I miss interacting with you guys so much. So please do feel free to share your stories and comments below. If you'd like to send me a story, just let me know and I will shoot you the email for this new channel. So, what you're seeing here is a movie from 2011 called Exit, and that's where we're going to start this little chat of mine, this video documentation, journal, whatever you want to call it. As usual, I'm not a popular YouTuber with a studio audience or a studio. I'm just a girl in her bedroom with her dog sitting on her bed playing with his Snoopy toy, so please excuse the background noise. Exit. There's a reason everyone feels so lost. It opens in a city with some lost people. That doesn't really explain what's going on. It just shows them opening doors everywhere they go in the city looking for this specific, seemingly magic and elusive door that nobody can find. And they mark all the doors they've already been to. And what's unique about it, what really resonated with me at first was that they were all mapping it out in their own ways. Some people saw clues and left their own symbols behind and saw these clues with symbols. You know, they recognize symbols, patterns in symbols. Some people recognize words. Some people recognize musical notes. Because we all have our own giftings, you see. We all learn differently. If you look into the psychology of how we learn, there are different love languages and different learning languages. Some of us are oral learners. We learn best by listening and hearing things repeated to us. Some of us learn best by seeing things and having a visual. That's called visual learners. Some of us are tactile learners. We learn best by doing things that we are trying to learn. And some of us, let's see, tactile, oral, visual, that's 3. I think there's 5, but you get the picture. Some people call us crazy, those of us who see patterns. Oh, well, that's schizophrenic. What you need to understand about this world first and foremost is that for everything there is an opposite. You can go and research any topic that you want and you will see a side that says, yes, this is correct, and you will see a side that says, no, this is not correct. For every person out there that says that aliens are real, you'll find one that says, no, they are not. For every one person that says psychics are real, you'll find a person who says, no, they are not. And then you have people that say, well, you have to back up your claims with evidence. Different people have different evidence that, to them, proves or disproves that same thing. This is when you have to go within and see what resonates or rings true, what rings like a bell within your own spirit or soul. So, with Exit, you see all these different people who they come together in the dregs of society, in the alleyways, in abandoned buildings to meet every now and again. And towards the end, when we start to understand what's going on, a woman tells the story to a young girl who's closing up a theater. She's certain that the door is inside this theater. She's certain every time that she's found the right door. And the girl asks her, what are you looking for? And she sits down and she tells this young girl, imagine that a handful of people were put in a maze. And for a while, they tried very valiantly to find the way out, the exit door. But after a time, they grew weary and lonely, and they began to multiply. And though they still looked for the door, they began to build, almost like a child builds with Lego blocks or doll houses. And this went on and on. They began to multiply and build some more until almost nobody remembered the original purpose or what they were even doing there. And almost nobody was looking for the exit. That's how I feel in this place. I feel like the voice in the desert, the voice in the wilderness, one of the only few people who is still trying to speak on certain things, certain truths. Does this make me special? Absolutely not. I'm rejecting trolls at this point. I'm not even going to listen to them because they are repetitive. They are the lost ones and they don't even realize it. They are in need of our prayers and our thoughts, but they don't need our attention. Not mine anymore. They won't get it. I'm not feeding that monster any longer. Just because someone says something does not make it true. Just because I say something doesn't make it truth. You have to go within and see if what I say rings like a bell inside of your own heart. You see, we have forgotten our true purpose, what we are here for. I am to the point where I have learned so much and taken in so much information that nothing looks like truth to me anymore. Absolutely nothing. And I trust absolutely no one after all of the things that I've been through. And I will get back to telling my story again. For those of you that don't know, I will touch on a little bit here. But please be patient because there's a reason I'm going about things in a different way this time. I'm going to tell you what happened to me, the facts, and present them. And then I'm going to tell you how I've coped with them or dealt with them. And I will also tell you what has resonated as truth within me. Is the Bible true? I believe that a lot of it, whether it is God's word or not, is coming true because certain people want it to be true. I believe a lot of it is coming true because a lot of people, well, a certain group of people are using it to play into the hands of a certain agenda to limit carbon. Remember that we are each made of carbon. Carbon reduction is population reduction. It is the same thing, just said in a different way. It's not so much what people say at this point that's important. It's what they're not saying. We micromanage each other's speech so much now to the point we think that we're smart using all these big words and dialects and catching people. The people are going to stop talking, and trust me when I say that that's what they want. They don't want us gathering. They don't want us talking with each other. They don't want us knowing exactly what's going on. They want us alone and secluded so that we are an echo chamber unto our own minds. I know this because it happened to me first. Or it happened to me, not first maybe, but we'll just say in the first wave, beginning towards the end of 2017, 2018. During that eclipse, one of their big rituals. You can call this a coping mechanism if you like. But any mother out there, when I say this, you'll know exactly what I mean. A mother has held life inside of her. She knows her own child. She knows when her child is in danger. She knows when her child needs her. She knows when her child has left this plane. In the beginning of my journey, and you'll hear this soon in another video, I will elaborate, I believe that it was possible that a spiritual rapture had occurred already. I still believe that something of that sort has happened. Now, you can call it a coping mechanism if you like, and perhaps that's what it is. I'm not going to tell you what to believe. That's not my job. My job is just to witness to you what did happen. It's up to you to decide. My job is to help you avoid the pitfalls that I fell into. You see, they're testing people to see who belongs in this new society and who does not. I am a have-not and I am a do-not because I use my voice in the best way that I can and am able to. Much like this movie, we have forgotten who we are and why we are here. Are aliens real? I don't put it past God to create anything. I think anything is possible. Nothing is impossible. Remember that. Are they malevolent or benevolent? Well, we are both, so I would say they could be both. The same goes for Bigfoot or skinwalkers or any of these other things that are out there. The game is fear. They want you to a point of fear. They want us off of this plane. They don't think that we deserve it. Many people will tell you this is Satan's world. I disagree. But who is Satan? It's key to understand the story from the Native American Indians about the dark wolf and the white wolf. Which one will be victorious within you? The white spirit or the dark spirit? The one you feed will be victorious. We each have a bit of a Satan within us. Satan lies. The devil is a liar. And so are people. People lie. For whatever reason, it's what we do now. Every day. You lie to be a part of society. About your life being great. About having it all together. That's all social media is. That's what it's done to us. And sure, we did it before that. That's what materialism has brought us to. In Scripture, we are told, or rather Satan told Christ when he went out to be alone for 40 days and 40 nights. He told Christ, I will give you all of these kingdoms that are mine. And even the pastors and the priests should be ashamed of themselves because they say Satan told us it's his world. What is the first thing we are told? Do not be deceived, the devil is a liar. This is not his world. God gave it to us. And whether this whole world is Eden or the gates to Eden are here, which I believe they are, and I believe that they are now open, and I will give my reason for that soon. Just stay tuned. Satan is a liar. Christ knew this. He told him man cannot live on bread alone. He did not directly even acknowledge what Satan said because he knew he is a liar. This is not Satan's kingdom. God gave this to us, and we are told that we have dominion over all things on the earth. And that includes the demonic. We are above them in the hierarchy. And yes, there is a hierarchy, no matter who says what. You can see it exemplified in the nature around us. And those who say, where's your proof for God? In the heavens, in the sun, and the moon, and the stars. Well, those are just simulators. They're not real. Look, if you've bought into that, then you're already drowning. I can't send you out a life preserver to save you because you won't take it. You won't believe that it's even there. Right? That life preserver isn't there. I didn't just throw it out to you. I'm just lying, right? It's just your imagination. It's a simulation. It's not real. There's nothing wrong with pretending this is all a test because it is. But it is the most important test that you will take in every decision. Every word, every action matters. I know this because I've messed up so darn much. And I'm trying to make good on those mistakes. And I know this is a channel about high strangeness. And so I'm here to tell you, we've lost our way and we've forgotten why we're here, and nobody's looking for the exit no more. You're saying, well, Jen, you just told us this is our world. Is it or isn't us? I'm using a euphemism, a metaphor, okay? A parable to explain our current situation. They're doing things to us because we're allowing it. We're being quiet about it. Consent by allowance. I forget what they actually call it. Just because I'm quiet doesn't mean I consent. I have to be asked first. Each and every human being on this planet has to be asked. And trust me, you've already been asked, or you are going to be asked if you consent to this plan of theirs. You're going to be asked if you consent to be ended, to be deleted, to be erased. I know because, again, that happened to me. And they had to be more overt because at first I wasn't getting it. And finally, when I started learning how the enemy worked, I had to get into the occult. I had to read about the occult to understand how they operated. I had to read about the demonic to learn how they operated. If you're not understanding why people are talking around you in a certain way, why they've changed, why their actions and their words are kind of mixed up, a little verbose, a little morbid, it's because they're asking you for your consent to literally ruin your life. And again, you don't have to believe me. It doesn't really matter to me if you do or not. I'm throwing out life preservers here. It's up to you to take it. We've forgotten what we're doing here. We're supposed to be caretakers of the earth, of the animals, and of each other. It's really that simple. We're here to love and to tend and to have joy. So don't let your joy be taken. Don't let your family be divided by politics, not even by medical anonymity or superiority or class or anything. Now, it's one thing if your family's trying to do you harm. That's not what I mean. So don't misunderstand me on purpose. They're trying even to use God to divide us and say, well, your family's not godly. You must leave them. Is that true? Look at the story of Daniel in the lion's den. He was literally ordered to participate in the occult. And then they said, well, ask your God. Go and ask your God. And he converted people because, of course, his God, the one true God at the tippy top of the hierarchy, was correct in the prophecies that he gave at that point. Daniel was in the lion's den. God didn't pull him out. God didn't tell him to leave all those wicked people. God used him to be a beacon and a light and a road sign to point to the way that they should be going because they were lost. I feel like that China girl, that lovely China McClain. I'm sitting here on the beach pointing shark, 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 and everybody else is just jumping around having a good time, wondering what's wrong with you? Why are you so sad? You're so negative. You're so down. Because I see my world that I grew up in, that I love so much, my community that I chose to bring my children up in, that was so friendly and so loving. I've seen it all go sideways and upside down and inverted in a very short amount of time. And I'm not going to lay down and take it. I'm not condoning violence. I'm not inciting violence. I'm saying don't allow it. I'm saying start using your words. I'm saying to love each other with kindness and gentleness and humility. We have dominion here on this plane. A good leader does not force anyone to do anything. A good leader leads by example. A true example. Not someone who flashes a smile for cameras and puts up a few good tweets so people think, oh, he's just the second coming. No, that's not a leader. A good leader leads by example. How a person treats their family. How a person speaks when the cameras are on or off. And I'm not saying they never lose their temper. I'm not saying they never make a mistake or mess up. I'm saying a good leader takes ownership of their mistakes, admits to them, and then turns around and tries to do better again. Dusts themselves off when they fall down. We have to start pointing out the shark that is in the waters so that we don't all get eaten. We have to remember why we're really here. The gates are open. Remember, for every positive, there's a negative. Tom Hanks said it a few years at the Golden Globes, and I did a lot of videos on gates and portals, and I'll be uploading the older ones again to both channels very soon. When he said that, I knew. The Bible tells us the gates of hell shall not prevail against the church. Never told us they wouldn't be open. We know that locusts and scorpions were coming. Not literal locusts and scorpions. Again, the people who don't read it as a spiritual book have no understanding. It meant things that would harm us, prick us. They would not kill us, but that they would torment us. Okay? The gates are open. So if the gates of Hades are open, the gates of the abyss are open, then surely that means that the gates of Eden are open as well now. And I think I know where a few of them are. But you can't get in unless you have a pure heart. It's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen until you pass your test. And you're not going to pass your test until you start pointing out to everybody else around you that there's a shark. A good leader has to have people to lead, right? If there is no people, then you have no kingdom. And there's no point in having a leader. The other side doesn't realize this. It's a snake eating its own tail, and it's going to eat itself up. That's a house that's already divided, the house of darkness. They're already eating each other up, in case you haven't noticed. It's already happening. I believe it's very possible a spiritual rapture has already occurred, or this has been severely micromanaged for a very long time, very organized, and they're acting out the Bible. But either way, they're bringing it to fruition with a very, very specific purpose in mind. Are you going to allow it to continue? We have sovereignty. We are sovereign beings, which means, yes, we are each our own little g God. And the only ones we have to answer to are our own self and the Most High God that created us. But you also have to answer to your own families, your own children. Now, some people forgot out of ignorance. They didn't tell their children out of mere ignorance. They had no idea what was really going on here. I am one of those people, so I'm trying to correct my mistake. But if you knew what was happening here and you kept quiet, I have a warning for you. Triple. Everything that you deserve is coming back to you in a heaping triple dose. Let me tell you something else too. Stop using social media as your only form of communication. I knew a very long time ago that my social media was being backdoored. There are clones for Messenger out there. For every app you have, there are dual SIMs. They can have your calls rerouted. This is not high tech. This is not even old tech. If you want to get into alien tech, high tech, that is stuff you can't even comprehend at this point. The stuff I'm talking about, this has been around for years. You see, because children aren't very wise. They don't have a lot of experience. I know each and every person that I've texted in the past. I know how they talk. I know whether they use punctuation or not. I know what words they use. I know what slang they use. I know that people I talk to in Pittsburgh talk a little different than people in Ohio. I know that my dad's family is very proper. I know how my sister talks. I know how my mother talks. I know they both talk pretty much the same. I know that they kind of whine, and I know that my dad's family aren't whiners at all. You see, so I know how people type and how they talk. A lot of what's coming back to roost is what we did on our own. We ignored our children during some formative years because we were playing and having fun on social media. We grew addicted to it. And now that's coming back to us. A lot of what's happening, they went after our children and they already got most of them. I know that my social media was hacked by my own children. I know that I can't even reach out to pretty much anybody anymore because my own child or children are managing my messenger apps. I know this because I know how they talk. I know them inside and out. They think I'm stupid. They think I have no concept of this. And so, yeah, as part of a coping mechanism, as far as I'm concerned, these are not the same children that I raised. I don't know these people. I don't know them. But be aware, everything that we all do comes back to us in ways that you cannot even comprehend. And see, our children don't know this because they've not had life experience. And so I have to get some of these things out so that they can't say someday, why did you never tell me, Mother? Why didn't you warn me, Mother? Oh, but I tried. For 3.5 years now, young men, I've tried. And you didn't want to hear it. This is why a lot of things are so confusing. This is why none of it makes sense. This is why it seems like children run amok, because it literally is very immature people, children, and yes, the demonic. Chin up, gang. This is all about to fall to pieces pretty soon, I think, because again, we're dealing with some very immature minds, and greed does things to people. And a lot of that stuff is going to come to the surface soon. You think you've seen people's true colors now? Sadly, I don't think we've seen anything yet. But it's coming. Don't say there weren't people out there trying to warn you.